Okay, so let's start today's class. Today is already week 10. At first, like a fun fact is that at first I thought we should do only 10 weeks, and then after some thinking I do it for 12 weeks. But never mind. Okay, so I'm gonna share my screen and you guys can start turning on your cameras. So today we'll be learning this house prefers motion, but before we dig deeper into it, I want to do a warm-up because I found this really interesting debate speech. I don't know if you guys have watched it, but even if you have watched it before, it's fine. Like, it's okay. So we will watch this short speech on whether esports should be included in the Olympics. And when you watch, it's really short. The speech is only 4 minutes. And then you will prepare rebuttals. And you can just like give any arguments that you may have. Of course, after watching the video, I'll give us some time to prepare. But yeah, we will watch this one. It is from The Debaters from 2021 because I think the speech is pretty good. Okay. And the speech is on the affirmative side. So which means, oops, I accidentally sent it to someone here. It's on the affirmative side, and which means you will be rebutting. So you will be the negative. So the motion is that esports should be included in the Olympics. Before we watch this video, can anyone tell me what is esport? Like if you know what it is, you can just share. Yeah, Neil, you can share.
Esport is like I think it's kind of game. It's kind of sport, but we use smart devices. We use like it have games, but the games is related to sport, so it's called esport. Yeah, so it's like electrical sport. I think so.
Yeah, kind of like that. Okay, thank you, Neil. How about Hui? What do you think?
Esports is more about gaming more than competing like in physical competitiveness. Yeah, I think so.
Oh, forgot to turn on my mic. Yeah, that's true. Thank you, Hui and Neil. Yeah, you see, E is electric, so electric sport, like video games. And even though the Olympics right now, they do not have esport, but for example, I don't remember what competition, Sea Games already has esports. So yeah, but the Olympics, they do not have esports. Okay, so the motion asks whether esports should be included. So we will listen to the affirmative speech. Yeah. And after that, after you guys rebut, we will listen to the rest of the speeches to see if you guys have similar rebuttals. Yeah, we'll watch it once. And after that, if you guys still want to watch one more time, we will watch it one more time. Okay. Wait.
There are many factors that have pushed the game industry to develop rapidly.
So you guys should like listen and like note down because after that you will need to rebut. Okay. So just try your best. Don't worry. It's just like a warm-up activity. So I'm gonna open now.
In a world like today, there are many factors that have pushed the game industry to develop rapidly. Nowadays, on platforms like Twitch, there are professional gamers who stream for a living and also professional gaming competitions as well. It's creating a promising market because billions of dollars and million job opportunities are poured into the industry each year. However, due to the fact that A, many people still won't recognize esport as a sport, B, they still view gaming in a negative light, esport hasn't truly developed developed to its full potential yet. And besides that, the Olympic is also losing its viewership too. So, as proposition, our goal today is to bring more benefits for both the gaming industry and the Olympics. Before we get into the practical and principle ground, we'd like to give definitions and characterization of the motion. Esports is a competitive way of playing computer games using physical and mental ability within a professional setting. And the Olympic Games here are a leading set of sports competitions with the best athlete representatives from all over the world. In the Olympics, there is a huge media coverage, both through social media and traditional methods. It is considered a very prestigious event and gains the attention of international audience, many communities, and world leaders as well. Now, moving to our case. On our side of the house, we believe that the inclusion of esports in the Olympic is completely justifiable. That's because esport meets all the requirements and values of an Olympic sport. A, the Olympics require a competitive component, and esport gamers have to compete to win through competitions which require fair play and strategy. B, esport allows for expression of human ability both mentally and physically. The player uses his or her brain to play the game and also uses their hands, eyes, or mouth, which is certainly using physical ability. Although your side of the house may question if this qualifies as physical activity, the answer would definitely be yes. Physical activity doesn't have to be necessarily like running or jumping, right? It can simply be moving your body somehow. In fact, in the 2020 Tokyo Olympics, shooting is also a qualified sport. And by just aiming and shooting, it doesn't use much physical movement like esports. C, there is adequate diversity representation from esports. Esports is a very popular globally, with 400 million audience each year, and it is developing fast, especially in Asia and even developing countries like Vietnam. There are already 2.5 billion gamers in 194 countries in the world, and in this, 48% gamers are females and the rest are male, and this basically means that it has potential to develop all different backgrounds. D, the goals of the Olympics align with esports. The educational and health values can be shown through gamers' practice, nutrition, and care for health. And at the end of the day, these gamers are not competing for fun, right? They're there to represent their national pride. And lastly, your side may question, why is chess qualified but cannot be in the Olympics while esport can? Because esport is a spectator sport, and for all those reasons above, that is why Proposition believes that it is justified to include esports in the Olympics, and the further practical benefits will be introduced by my second teammate. Thank you.
Okay, that's the first one. I see some people just come in. So yeah, for those who just come in, we are just watching a speech on this motion. That's why you guys should come in on time, so I don't have to explain again. Okay, do you guys want to watch it like one more time? Or that's fine. Like you can tell me in the chat if you want to watch it one more time. Okay. Some people say yes, so we'll just watch it one more time because the speaker speaks a bit fast. Okay. All right, so Tom, you just come in. Like you can listen, and because this person, she is from the affirmative for this motion. So you can try to rebut her, like in your opinion. Okay. So yeah, we'll listen again one more time.
In a world like today, there are many factors that have pushed the game industry to develop rapidly. Nowadays, on platforms like Twitch, there are professional gamers who stream for a living and also professional gaming competitions as well. It's creating a promising market because billions of dollars and million job opportunities are poured into the industry each year. However, due to the fact that A, many people still won't recognize esport as a sport, B, they still view gaming in a negative light, esport hasn't truly developed to its full potential yet. And besides that, the Olympic is also losing its viewership too. So, as proposition, our goal today is to bring more benefits for both the gaming industry and the Olympics. Before we get into the practical and principle ground, we'd like to give definitions and characterization of the motion. Esports is a competitive way of playing computer games using physical and mental ability within a professional setting. And the Olympic Games here are a leading set of sports competitions with the best athlete representatives representatives from all over the world. In the Olympics, there is a huge media coverage, both through social media and traditional methods. It is considered a very prestigious event and gains the attention of international audience, many communities, and world leaders as well. Now, moving to our case. On our side of the house, we believe that the inclusion of esports in the Olympic is completely justifiable. That's because esport meets all the requirements and values of an Olympic sport. A, the Olympics require a competitive component, and esport gamers have to compete to win through competitions which require fair play and strategy. B, esport allows for expression of human ability both mentally and physically. The player uses his or her brain to play the game and also uses their hands, eyes, or mouth, which is certainly using physical ability. Although your side of the house may question if this qualifies as physical activity, the answer would definitely be yes. Physical activity doesn't have to be necessarily like running or jumping, right? It can simply be moving your body somehow. In fact, in the 2020 Tokyo Olympics, shooting is also a qualified sport. And by just aiming and shooting, it doesn't use much physical movement like esports. C, there is adequate diversity representation from esports. Esports is a very popular globally, with 400 million audience each year, and it is developing fast, especially in Asia and even developing countries like Vietnam. There are already 2.5 billion gamers in 194 countries in the world, and in this, 48% gamers are females and the rest are male, and this basically means that it has potential to develop all different backgrounds. D, the goals of the Olympics align with esports. The educational and health values can be shown through gamers' practice, nutrition, and care for health. And at the end of the day, these gamers are not competing for fun, right? They're there to represent their national pride. And lastly, your side may question why is chess qualified but cannot be in the Olympics while esport can? Because esport is a spectator sport, and for all those reasons above, that is why Proposition believes that it is justified to include esports in the Olympics, and the further practical benefits will be introduced by my second teammate. Thank you.
All right, that's the first speech. Okay, I hope that you guys can, write down some information. For those who just come in, I will send you guys the video in the chat, and you guys can watch, but you don't need to give a speech because maybe you are a bit late. So here is the link to the video, and you can watch it while others are preparing. Okay, so that's better. So here, let me share my screen back. Okay, so after watching that speech from the affirmative side, I'll give you guys time to prepare your rebuttals. You can feel free to, search on the internet for some more information on esports. Yeah, if you finish, you can tell me in the chat. We can have like a 5 to minute preparation. Okay, or more if you guys need more. So yeah, now you guys can prepare. And you can also ask me questions in the chat. For Jade and Helena, you guys can watch the video I send in the chat. Okay, watch it by yourself. Okay, we can start your rebuttals. So it's not really a debate speech. You just feel free to rebut when you hear the arguments from the other side. Okay, such as like give your own opinions regarding this warm-up activity. Like I said, if you cannot like rebut much, then you can also present some ideas from the negative as well. Okay, Hui, you can go first.
Okay, so supporters of Olympic esports often claim that mental agility and reflexes are just as valuable as physical exertion. However, this overlooks the fundamental nature of the Olympics, which has always celebrated physical achievement and the limits of human endurance. While esports require skill, they lack the physical demands that define traditional sports. Allowing them into the Olympics would blur the distinction between athletic competition and digital gaming, undermining the very essence of what the games represent. Another compelling reason to oppose esports in the Olympics is the issue of commercial influence. Unlike traditional sports, which are governed by independent federations, esports are controlled by private companies that own the games. This means that rules, updates, and even the existence of a particular title depend on corporate decisions rather than neutral sporting bodies. So such dependent risks comprising the fairness and integrity of Olympic competition, as the games could be swayed by business interests rather than athletic values. Yes, so that's my opinion.
All right, I think that's kind of cool. So yeah, what you mentioned was really interesting because like the reason why that we don't really have it in the Olympics is because okay, I will not say anything. You guys can just rebut and then later I will say what I think so that others can also, provide their rebuttals as well. Anyone else? Okay, Neo.
Okay, first of all, I think I will rebut. Okay, so first of all, I think esports are really passive. Like we're just sitting and playing video games. And Olympics, of course, are not created with game spirit. It's created with sporty spirit. And that we have to like play some sport like um do some football, basketball, I think so. And I hear that example of shooting in 2020 Tokyo Olympics. I think that when we're shooting, we have to stand, we have to aiming and shooting, and also we need to be strong to against the pressure that the gun affects on us. Because when you shoot the bullet, always a really big pressure against on us. Okay, and I think esport games are no need to be in Olympics to stand for our nation's our spirit, because there are billions of gamers and we all on the world, and we all proud of our nations, our culture. And if gamers become a job and is more and more popular, I think a lot of students may give up on their studying and just playing video games to be like a real gamers. Because I think a lot of students like they prefer games than studying. So this will be a big problems in educations. Yes, thank you.
All right. I see you also have some good rebuttal points regarding the influence of, esports. Because like right now, of course, esport, it is a sport, but it's like slightly different than the traditional views or perception of sports. And you mentioned the students. You can also explain more how like that can also affect students. Like how will they kind of like either neglect their studies or they have a false perception of, playing video games. They think, oh, I can make money, but um they're just being like unrealistic, maybe. So you can explain that as well, but that's a good point. Okay. Anyone else? I want to call on those who are on time and have listened like twice. You can also share what you think. Okay, how about, oh yeah, Tu, go ahead.
Okay, well, I think that Traditional sports. Reasons why esports should not be included in the Olympics first. Traditional sports require physical movement and high physical skills, while esports primarily rely on gaming skills and strategic thinking. Also, esports can lead to health problems such as obesity, back pain, and eye issues, which contracted the Olympic spirit of promoting health and fitness. The culture surrounding esports is different from that of traditional sports. The audience for esports mainly consists of younger generations, while the Olympics attract a more diverse demographic. Yeah, that's what I think about. Yeah.
Okay, that's good. I think you can explain more on the last point. I think that last point is kind of interesting. You say that esports mostly for the younger generation. You can explain why, right? Like, what if a 90-year-old man also like esports? I don't know. But you can explain how is esport mostly for the younger generation. When you explain, you can give examples, you can illustrate a bit more. Because I think it's kind of cool because you said that the Olympics, it's for like a wider demographic, like football, everyone loves it. Not everyone, but like almost everyone loves it. So you can explain that and how maybe esport is not really suitable when it comes to viewers and like the people who come to watch it, maybe. That's a good point. Okay, thank you too for that. Anyone else? How about Helen, do you want to share?
My points are like first, I think that many other sports have standardized rules and global competitions such as chess, but it is like yet still not is it yet still not Olympic sports. So why esports deserve a limited slot over many other sports? And second, I think that I think that esports is mainly popular among the young viewers and maybe far less appealing to many long-term Olympics audiences. And besides Olympics, games has limited time and resources. So adding esports can reduce attention and airtime for many other traditional events.
Okay, thank you, Ling, for that. I think that's good as well. Like, because I think your rebuttal directly contrasts with what the speaker say, because the speaker said nowadays Olympics is losing their viewership, and because esport is really popular, it can attract more people. We can rebut how it will maybe not attract as much. Yeah, I think that's good. And also, I remember he also talked about the standard rule, which is also a good point because, for example, we have the Football Federation, which is the global standard. But for video games, they have lots of games. Like you can play lots of games, and it's kind of hard to choose which to play at the Olympics, right? I think that's true. And it's different from football because football only has one rule. Other than video games, they have lots of them and lots of types. So which can be a bit confusing. Yeah, that's a way to go. Lastly, Lee, do you want to share as well?
Yes. Well, the affirmative team argues that esports require strategy, teamwork, and reactions. We don't deny it. However, these qualities can't are not enough to make a sport in Olympic. You know, esport depends heavily on private companies. Unlike football or swimming, developers can change the rules and even stop supporting a game. So I think that Olympics should not depend on business decisions. And I think no company should have the power to change an Olympic sport with their support like software update. And moreover, sport in Olympic are stable in why esports change very quickly. So it is difficult to I think that a game popular today may disappear in few years or even 10 years, but I think Olympics should not include a sport like e-sport because it's changed often. And finally, esports already has its own world champions, professional leaguers, and millions of fans. This does not mean like Olympic to prove its value. Yeah, that's my rebuttal.
Honestly, it's really good. Like you include a lot of interesting points. Some new points that you mentioned is that, like, firstly, we mentioned how, yes, esport, like this motion is not to kind of like degrade esport because we all know it is a sport and it is popular, yes. So Lee said that, like, I think making a trade-off is kind of cool. So, Lee said that even though esport, it does promote teamwork, it is very competitive, but it is not the entire spirit. And it does have like its own championship. So it doesn't need the Olympics to like prove anything, which is a good point. You can also prove how esports staying in its own like championship league will maybe attract more people, right? Because if it is in its own like championship, then like people will watch it because they know, oh, this championship is only for esports, which maybe it will be a lot more popular. But when it enters the Olympics, it is like mixed with other sports. So maybe it won't be as popular anymore compared to other like dominant sports. So you can also compare it like that. But yeah, overall, like your points are really interesting. Okay, I think that's it. For those who come late, you don't really need to, give in case you still want to. So anyone else before I move on? Okay, probably not. So yep, I think like maybe this warm up we learned a bit more on esports and its involvement in the Olympics. You guys can like go home and watch the negative speech. It's also a pretty good speech as well. Okay, our main topic for today is on this house prefers motion. It's like not a lot of knowledge actually. So we will just go over them and it's kind of easy to understand. I have this example on the screen. Okay, this example. It is assuming feasibility, this house prefers a world where people cannot lie. Assuming feasibility, it means this. This is the meaning. Cho là có khả năng có thể xảy ra. Like assuming that it is feasible, that it will happen, right? Because we cannot prove that people can lie or people cannot. So that's why it has this word, assuming feasibility, which means that affirmative, you guys do not need to prove that, oh, this world is possible. But yeah, it's already in the motion. So no need to prove that, oh, it's possible or it is impossible or something. And the type of motion for this house prefers is also value judgment, analysis, and principle debate. And this debate focuses more on comparison between X and Y. So for example, affirmative must defend X, a world where people cannot lie, and negative must defend Y, which is the status quo. The status quo is that people can lie and people can, say people can lie and they will not tell the truth. Okay. And one important thing, I think we all know this, but teams, especially the negative, cannot defend Y plus Z. So you cannot say, oh, people can lie and something else. Okay. It's only between X and Y. So yeah, this is something that we cannot do in this house prefers motion. And that's it. Later, we will compare this house prefers and this house regrets in the next couple of slides. So the only takeaway here is sự so sánh giữa hai bên, comparison. You need to compare which world is better, like prefers a world, right? So yeah, which world is better? Okay, some important notes. So there are 3 of them. The first one is that debates, you are not just telling me the benefits and the disadvantages. A bit similar to this house regrets, it is a comparison. So rather than just like simply arguing about the benefits, you need to dig deeper into the context and how that issue impact or can impact the world. You see, it's a bit similar to this house regrets because you also need to tell me, okay, if a world that people cannot lie, then what will happen? You have to, tell me what can happen in that world. Kind of like that. Okay. And number 2 is you guys can be very dynamic, very creative in the explanation, which means that you can show how something can change over time. Tức là mình có thể giải thích và cho mọi người biết rằng là cái điều đó có thể thay đổi theo thời gian như thế nào. For example, you can say, okay, at first, if people cannot lie, then they will hurt others' feelings. But over time, it is actually better because people get used to it. They will not feel hurt because they live in a world where everyone has to tell the truth. So over time, it's actually better. So yeah, you need a lot of like explanation on the over time, how it may changes over time. You can do that, but you have to be realistic as always. And debate is hypothetical. Hypothetical means giả tưởng, which means it is not in the status quo. So if this house regret is in the past, this house prefer can be the future, can be like a made up world or something. So which means that the affirmative, you have to draw a picture, you have to illustrate how their world will look like. Maybe if people cannot lie, it means people will tell the truth 100%. And you can give examples. For example, when you ask a criminal and that thief will tell the truth, and it's much easier for you to investigate an issue. So yes, 3 notes on this house prefers. Okay, now I have this. Oh, before I move on to this board, you guys can ask me any questions on this house prefers. And you guys can spend like 30 seconds to read again. If there are no questions, then I'll move on. But yeah, you can ask me any questions. Okay, so are there any questions or confusion, perhaps? Yeah, probably not. Okay, so I will move on to the next slide, which is this one. Last time we learned this house regrets, right? So we will have a board comparing the 2 motions. What is like wording? Like what is the differences? How different is the meaning? And like when we brainstorm, how do we need to think differently depending on the motion? Okay, so this is like a short activity. I'll give you guys 5 minutes to think in your head, or you can write down anything. And then later I will ask some people, what do you think are the differences between the two motions? Yeah, okay. You can even give me a real example of a real motion if you can, but that's fine. Just need to compare between these two categories, 3 categories. Okay, so we'll come back at like 56. For this activity, I will ask the others who haven't spoken if you don't raise your hand. But yeah, you can still raise your hand to, speak as well. If anyone has answers, you guys can share on what you think are the differences between these two. Okay, Neo, you can go ahead.
Okay, in my opinion, I think this have prefers, and this have regrets. The difference is wording. Like preferred is kind of compare X and Y, like which one you prefer, and regret is like you regret doing something, like regret not doing something. I think so. And about the meaning, it's like preferred is more about comparison, and regret is more about talking about the past. I think so. And brainstorming, I think both of them can be really creative because in regret you have to like remember you have to imagine of hypothetical world, but always remember that prefers this kind of prefers is focused on comparisons, and regrets is like talking about the past. Yeah, that's I think.
All right, thank you, Neo, for that. Those are good, differences. Yeah, the main ones. Okay. Anyone else? Let me ask, how about Helena? Would you like to tell me the differences between these two emotions?
Okay. So first about the wording, I think that this house prefer it will be this house prefer A over B, or this house prefer A, and this house regret it will be this house regret A, or this house regret that. And about the meaning, I think that this house prefer is this house believe one options is better or more desirable than one another, like it will compare different choice. And this house regret will be like this house believes something should not happen because it's led to negative consequence, like that. And it look back on a past event or decisions. About the brainstorming for this house refers, I think that we need to compare the benefit and drawbacks of each side, each options, and explain why one choice create better outcome, and focus on comparisons and trade-off. But on this house regret, we must explain what happened and why it was harmful, and show the negative impact caused by the motion, caused by the event or decisions, and explain how the word would be if it had not happened. So that's all.
All right, thank you for that, Helena. So yeah, that's true. Okay. Anyone else? I want to ask like one more person. Sunny, would you like to share as well?
Yes, of course. So if we discuss about more about the THW and the THB in debate, I think that the THW is about the policy, like the action base, and the THB is like the value, like is concentrated in specifically comparison. So about wording, I think that THWs like they just directly express as a direct action, like they would do something, ban something, or just about give a new law, some kind of that. And for THB, I think that they express as a preference or choice between two state of being, and like they just compare those like it's like A and B, X and Y. And for the meaning, I think that THW they like focus on the enactment, like you have to deal with real words. They are like enforcement, like some political pushback or some, yes, I expect, but
for THB, they are just focuses. I think they focuses on like traditions or cultures, and you just covering the impact, the values, and yeah, and for brainstorming. I think that THW, I think that we will ask a lot of questions about, I think just simply about the laws or about the safety, what it can affect us. But about brainstorming THB, I think that we will definitely ask, like what value, like what is the difference of this stage and that stage, and like what is the long-term impact, some kind of that.
All right, thank you, Sunny, for that. Yep, so overall, all of you are correct. I mean, the similarities is that we all need to compare, like literally in every single types of motions, comparison is key. In the wording, prefer, regrets, okay? Meaning we already know. And how we brainstorm is that in this house prefers, the similarity in both of these motions is that you need to illustrate a world that is different from the status quo. So, like, if you are affirmative, then you need to do that. You need to identify what is the status quo and how is the new world different from the status quo, right? You need to tell me the difference, because if both sides, you guys talk a lot on the benefits, but then I don't know how different is that. For example, in a world that people cannot lie, then maybe people will trust each other because nobody lies. In a world that people can still lie sometimes, which is the status quo, then maybe you say that people will learn when and when not to lie. You see? So you need to tell me explicitly what are the differences and why are you better in that case. Okay, but that's all for this. Um, now we'll do another practice. We don't have to do this motion. You guys can, like last time, a couple of like other times, you can chat in the chat what topic that you want. Okay, as a lot, like as many as possible. The topics for the motion. I'll give you guys like 3 minutes to type in the chat the topics that you want, and everyone has to type, okay? I will be counting the number of responses. Has anyone thought of any topics? For the others, like I also want you guys to participate in as well. Okay, just to make sure like everyone at least will have to. You guys can like provide the same topics as long as you write it down, so I can see that you are still in class. And if you like a topic, you can put emojis. So I like Lee's topic, so I just put emojis under it, kind of like that. Okay, so I got this pretty fun motion that I think we could do. It's a bit, I don't know, it's up to you how you think interesting it is. I'm gonna paste it in on the screen, and it has an info slide. Let me paste the info slide as well. A bit long. Okay, let's read the motion then. This house prefers a world where everyone is equipped with a replayer. And here's the info slide. Replayer is a technology which records whatever each individual sees for every moment of their lives. If they wish to, every person can download and replay any of their memories on the screen. You cannot show these memory recording to anyone else, only play it for yourself. I mean, it's not real, right? This is definitely something that will not happen in the status quo. So yeah, this is what it looks like when we debate this house prefers. Do you guys have any question you want to ask about this? About the motion? So how I would understand this is that it's a world where you have this wonderful technology that you can just replay, revisit any moment of your lives. For example, yesterday, maybe I went on a hiking trip and I really love it. And then today I want to see it again. So I can like download it and replay on a screen and I can like view my memory. It's like you're going back in time and view your memory. So yeah, I think it's pretty interesting. Like you guys can talk about how this may influence people because sometimes we all know that in the status quo, in the current world, okay, we cannot revisit memories. And we also cannot and memory is like moment. I would say like moment is something that happens once only, which means that like you have to appreciate the moment you have. But now with this technology, you can literally replay it and like, download it again. That's what the e-player means. Okay. Do you have any questions for this? With this one, I want to see how you guys think. So you can definitely choose your own like side. Okay. And what you do is really simple. You just need to give me like, okay, I'm gonna put this in the chat so maybe we can see it. give a setup, an argument. So like one argument is okay, or two. And you can also tell me what are the clashes, because we learned clashes like I don't know which week. And you can also tell me why your side may win the clashes as well. So yep, that's the motion. A bit, hypothetical, a bit unrealistic, but it's fun. Okay, so you guys will have like 15 minutes to prepare. And any question you can ask me. You guys can practice making like principle or practical arguments. You know, we also learned that as well. You can choose one of them or you can make both of them. Okay, so you can start preparing now. Some suggestions is that if you're on the affirmative, then you can tell me, okay, if a world we have this like really wonderful technology, how will people's mindset change, right? It's like a lot on how people will change when they do everyday task. Like I would say, oh, I don't need to care because later I can just replay my memory. Or I think of something really wonderful in exams. What may happen if we like have exams and stuff? We can cheat using our memories. That may work. Depends on how you guys think. Okay, you can prepare. All right, 5 minute is 15-minute is over. In the meantime, you guys can put like the emojis under your side. Like I sent 2 messages in the chat, agree or disagree, so I can see like which sides you guys are. And you guys can also POI each other if you are from different sides as well. And we'll be having 4-minute speeches. So now I see 3 people agree with this motion. How about like 7 others? I mean 4 others, if that must be. And make sure to turn on your camera if you can turn it on. You can't see it? Okay, I will send the message again. And then you guys can put it again. That's a big emoji. Okay. All right, for the others as well, make sure to put so I can know. Which side do you choose? 1 minute for you guys to do this. This should be quick. So I'm guessing we have Sunny, Jade, and who else? Lynx and Hui are on the agree side. How many person is that? 4 person on the agree and 2 on the disagree. So there must be 1 more person. Helena, which side do you choose?
I choose negative.
Negative. Okay, thank you for that. So we're pretty equal. Let me just put it in the chat again. Here we go. All right, those are the sides. So how this goes is that, for example, if Jade is speaking, and then like Neo, Lee, or Helena, you guys want to POI Jade, you can just either raise your hand in the Zoom, or you can just turn on your mic and say POI. And if Jade agrees, then you ask. So you guys can do that. Okay, I will not like relocate you guys into pairs. So the agree side will be speaking first. Anyone on the agree side who wants to go first? No. If not, then I'll choose, if that's easier. No, Neo, you're on the disagree. I'm asking on the agree. Okay. Because normally agree side goes first in debates. Okay, so Sunny, do you want to go first?
Yes, sure.
Okay, why not? And it's 4-minute speech. You can go over 15 seconds. All right, go ahead.
Yeah, so I may start my speech now. Hello everyone, my name is Sunny. So today I will debate about this house refers a word where everyone is equipped with a real player. So first of all, let's just talk about the definition. So the real player is a device that allows individuals is like to rewatch and experience the past memories with exact accuracy. So I definitely agree with this because a word of differential accountability, of course, it will help to build a deeper human connection. So now let's just move straight into my arguments. First, I think that is about the self-knowledge and the right like you know the right to the truth. Like our point here is individuals deserve to access objective reality regarding their own lives, because human memory distorts reality over time through like a lot of traumatized events, like through trauma or simple forgetting. So having an accurate record respects individuals' autonomy and like self-identity. For instance, a person like they're experiencing emotional abuse or manipulating or gaslighting in a relationship can replay interaction to confirm reality rather than doubting their sanity. Secondly, I think is about the Justin and like the total accountability. The real player eliminates systemic just injustice and crime. So for the specific explanation, like wrongful conviction, some crimes that are rely on hidden or disputed evidence. So perfect recall data's harmful actions are resolved dispute instantly. And my main clash here is about the truth versus obsession. So for the opposition argument, people will get stuck in the past, like they just get stuck in the loop over and over again and replaying bad memories or living in nostalgia. So I think that the government should win because humans, like they are already obsessed over past memories, so replaying provides clarity and closure rather than endless rumination. So access to exact truth allows faster healing than just trauma. Thank you.
All right, thank you for your speech, Sunny. So I'll just give feedback straight away. So for Sunny, I think your speech is good. Like you explain what is a replayer, and you do give some arguments on it. So your arguments include things like people have the right to access their memory data, or that if we are able to, replay, then we'll be less traumatic. For example, we aren't able to meet somebody or they unfortunately pass away and we don't have enough time with them. So if we replay memories, we will at least feel a bit better. So those are the arguments that Sunny run. I think to improve, like, firstly, you can kind of like consider the other side's arguments because that is the best way. This is for others as well, not just for Sunny. The best way that you can, might win a debate. Because if I'm the negative, I can say things like, we will not learn how to appreciate others. Because we know that, oh, I can just replay my memories to remember something. So we don't have like appreciation for anything in life. I can explain that, line of argument. So, sometimes you guys can consider the other side's argument and you can directly compare in your own arguments as well. And you can also like tell me how a world that has a replayer, how that may look like compared to the status quo. Like what are the main differences, right? So you can, outline the main differences, but yeah, that's it. And you can also talk about the impacts as well. So like in your impacts, you may say people will not be as traumatic or something else. You talk about, and you can also talk about why is this so important? Because people may feel stress or they may feel pressure like all the time. And so why is this like important in this debate? Right? So you can, talk about it in your speech. Okay. But yeah, overall, thank you, Sunny, for your speech. Anyone else? This time will be a person on the disagree side. Okay, Neo, go ahead.
Okay, first of all, I want to rebut. So I heard that Sunny said that it would have a replayer. We would feel like it's more funny to watch the memories, but that's a cause of problems. for some people. The problems here is live in the past. I think more and more people rely on this piece of tech and they just live in the past because and they do not accept the present. Like they are convictions, they are criminals, and they don't accept the present they are being murdered or something, and they just use the replayer just to live in the past. Okay, and I want to give my setup and argument. So I definitely disagree with the statement. First of all, I want to give the definitions. Is that the replayer is a machine. I can say that it's a piece of technologies that we can watch past memories, and it's just like individuals, and you cannot share with anyone. So for me, replayer is a really wonderful technology. However, it's kind of bad when we completely rely on this tech. Okay, so I think stakeholders, maybe young people, adult and elderly, because I think everyone they obviously want to see their memories in the past. Okay, so many people nowadays are becoming older and older, so they have more and more experiences in life. So a lot of people want to take a look at their memory again. However, beside the replayers benefits is cause a lot of problems. First of all, is about academic dishonesty. A replayer allows you to see memories, so it's equal that you know the answers and helps you to get high score in exams. So it's called inequality in exams and academic study. The next one, like I said before, is live in the past. So um, I think there's a lot of people that don't accept the present when they fail in some cases, maybe when they fail in life and to be really bad persons, and it's just you replayer to watch the memory in the past to see how beautiful are they in the past, and ultimately is really overload in your mind. So like your mind need to forget, and like it's like an input and output. Yeah, you need to input other new memories and like delete, expel your other memories. So it's like a work of the brain. And if you use the replayers and you see and you remember a lot of memories, so it's called overloading. So about the impact, I think it's it impacts on many sides of life. But for me, I think the replayers cause a lot of problems. They make people just want to live in the past, and they cause academic dishonesty, and furthermore, it's overload your mind. Thank you for listening.
All right, you have a lot of good points, I must say. Like, so overall, your speech is very well structured and the points are there. Like, to improve, I want you to dig a little deeper. Like, sometimes as debaters, we can think of really good points. However, the issue is how we explain them. So first, Neo talked about academic dishonesty, and that's a good point. I want you to dig deeper because if I'm the negative, I mean, if I'm the affirmative, I can rebut you by saying, okay, sure, how is that inequality? Because everyone has this replayer. Everyone can replay. Everyone can see the past. Everyone can, revisit their memories. So it's not really inequality because everyone can do that, right? And also, you guys should read the motion like here. It says they can replay on a screen, which means that if you are somewhere and you don't have a screen, you can't really replay. You can only store the memory. But that's just one teeny tiny part. So you can also dig that. And another thing is that Neo talks about like the living in the past. I think that's also a very good point. Like you said that people they cannot accept the present and they will only think about the past. Like maybe in the past they achieved something great and now they fail at something and they will just replay the past to, calm themselves. I think that's a good part. You can also explain this. Who are likely to use this replayer? Maybe people who have traumas, maybe people who are, too obsessed with the past or something. So that could be in your stakeholder. You can talk about like teenagers who are more likely to use this technology, who will not use this. And why is that a bad thing? Yeah, like kind of like that. So we will kind of like identify the characters that will use this technology. And how is like revisiting the past so bad? That's the question. Because the affirmative will also talk about you can revisit your memories and maybe do something great. So that's a clash and you need to resolve it. But yeah, that's just some, suggestions. Overall, your speech is like good. Very much like improved from the last class. I mean, from the first class. Okay. Yes, Hui, go ahead. You're on the agree side.
Okay. So to begin with, I want to present my rebuttals against Neo. He raises two concerns: academic dishonesty and living in the past. So on the first, the fear that replayers let students know exam answers misunderstands the mechanism here, which they only record personal experience of people, not textbooks or leaked papers. Revisiting memories is relieving that what you already knew, not fabricating new knowledge, so the claim of dishonesty collapse. On the second, the idea that replayers trap people in the past ignores the impact of healthy nostalgia. Revisiting memories strengthens identity, provides comfort, and builds resilience to face present challenges. Far from escapism, it equips individuals with emotional stability and to embrace reality. Thus, both objections fail. Replayers neither enable cheating nor encourage rejection of the present, but instead empower people with dignity and reflection. In terms of definition, a replayer is a technology that records any moment in every individual's life. This means when a person randomly has some nostalgic rememorization, they can replay any of their downloaded memories version on a screen. However, they can only use this device with the catch, only play it for themselves, and they cannot show these recorded memories to anyone else. Clearly, this house really prefers the action of revising memories by individuals and suggests such beneficial devices for these people. What's our status quo here? Millions of people around the world today are being regretful for not valuing moments beside families, friends, and companions in the past. This means sometimes they look back on their past randomly in their minds and cannot revisit memories that only happened once. This is where replayer devices get involved and what sparks today's debate. The key stakeholders in this debate are the individuals themselves, families, and society at large. For example, for individuals, that replayer provides a deeply personal mechanism to revisit memories privately, offering emotional comfort, reducing loneliness, and strengthening identity through reflection. Families benefit indirectly, as members who can process nostalgia or grief in healthy ways are more resilient and connected. And even if the device is restricted to personal playback, on a broader scale, society gains from improved mental well-being as people who can revisit meaningful experiences are less isolated and more grounded, which in turn reduces social strain and fosters stability. Moving on to my main argument, I absolutely believe that this house preferring every replayer to be owned by all human beings on Earth would allow people to revisit parts of their journeys whenever they feel lonely or sudden nostalgia. The mechanism here is simple yet powerful. The device records moments from a person's life and enables private playback, restricted only to the individual, ensuring both accessibility and privacy. This creates a safe space for reflection where people can relive meaningful experiences without external judgment or intrusion. The impact is deeply human. Revisiting memories provides emotional comfort, reduces feelings of isolation, and strengthens personal identity by reconnecting individuals with their past. Nostalgia becomes a source of resilience rather than sadness, and the ability to privately re-experience life moments enhances mental well-being, dignity, and self-understanding. In this way, replayers serve as humanitarian tools that empower individuals to heal, reflect, and find joy in their own journeys. Now I want to talk about my two clashes. The first clash is about privacy versus benefit. Opponents may argue that revisiting memories risk breaching privacy or creating unhealthy obsession. However, the mechanism of the replayer explicitly restricts playback to the individual alone, meaning no one else can access or exploit those recordings. This safeguard ensures privacy is preserved while still granting the emotional benefit of revisiting cherished experiences. Thus, the benefit of personal reflection can and comfort decisively outweighs the minimal privacy concern. The second clash is nostalgia versus progress. Critics might claim that focusing on past memories prevents people from moving forward. Yet the impact of revisiting is the opposite. By reconnected with meaningful moments, individuals strengthen their identity, gain resilience, and find motivation to progress. Nostalgia here is not escapism, again, but empowerment, turning memory into a source of emotional stability and growth. Therefore, the side that supports the replayers wins this clash by showing that revisiting memories enhances rather than hinders human progress. I rest my case, and I'm proud to propose.
All right, thank you for that fine speech. You went over time a bit, but that's fine, I guess. So I think that your structure is very clear because at the end, you do have like a clash and you provide the clash. I think like I'm gonna suggest like a structure that you can also follow is that you can incorporate the clash within the arguments. For example, the arguments after you mention about like how people can reconnect or how is that like necessary or somehow. And then in the impact, you can talk about the clash. So like you can incorporate that so it's more connected rather than two separate parts, but that's like a tiny bit of suggestion. And for the content of your speech, I think that's a good one. You can also dig deeper into the fact is it necessary? Because that is still a question that I'm still asking myself after listening to your speech. Even though you provide a lot of like benefits on having this replayer technology, is that people can revisit the past where they will not be regretful. But how is that necessary? Because if I'm on the like negative, I can say that without this technology, people will be taught to appreciate things more. They'll be taught to be more careful rather than having this technology in their lives. So, yep, that's the main metric in this debate. And if you're able to prove that, okay, this technology is indeed necessary, then your speech will be a lot more dynamic in terms of content. You can like talk about a couple of points on whether this is necessary is on the human connection. Like even though you talked about privacy because people cannot give it to other people, and it's very safe, I think that's just like a small part in the debate. You can actively think about what the other side might say and you compare your content to them. So if you are able to tell me if this technology is actually crucial, then it'll be a bit better. But yeah, overall, your speech is good in terms of like the explanation. So explanation is good as well. Okay. Thank you, Hui, for that. So the next
Thank you.
person on the next person on the disagree. Lee, do you want to go? Go ahead.
We oppose this motion because we believe a better society is not only about remembering the truth, but also about allowing people to change. Our first argument is about second changes. People should not be judged only by the worst moment of their life. In the current world, painful memories naturally become weaker over time, allowing people to heal and move forward. However, with replayer, every detail can be remembered perfectly and can be retold forever. For example, someone might commit a serious crime when they were young. After serving their punishment and spend many many years improving themselves. They want to rebuild their life, but but victims, witnesses, and society may still define them because of their fault. And our second argument is about redemption. The government might say replayer helps justice because it provides accurate information. We agree, however, these memories don't only stay in court, they become part of society judgment. One terrible moment can happen in minutes, but rebuilding trust takes many years. A person's worst moment can become more powerful than decades of improvement. So our main clash is between truth and forgiveness. Society needs justice, but it also needs the ability to believe that people can become better. They can change. Therefore, Replayer creates a world where people are trapped by their past instead of recognized for their growth. Yeah, that's my presentation.
Thank you, Lee, for that. So your arguments are on point. Wait, let me send the topic again to one speaker because they lost the motion. Okay, so going back to Lee's speech, like even though you do not really fill in the 4 minute, that's fine. I think it's better to just, speak how you think rather than going off topic and trying to fill in the 4 minute. Oftentimes some speakers try to do that. And yeah, but yeah, like so your arguments is all about like how you're not gonna regret and this technology is harmful in and of itself. One thing you can do at the end is providing a clash. What do you think is the main clash? I would say, is this necessary to people? And if it's not necessary, then what are the reasons that it's not necessary? Because people may be regretful. You can talk about how being regretful is a normal thing. Because like maybe on the agree side, they might say, oh, they regret things and this technology actually helps them, right? But you can say that, oh, regretting is something is totally okay. Like people regret all the time. And why is that fine? Why is like pressure okay in today's society? You can also talk about it and how you can also talk about how even if with this technology, it will not help people with their habit of like regretting things. Like, yeah, they will be too reliant on it and they will think that they will kind of like regret all the time. So you can also like think about the even if, right? If we dig deeper, there are lots of like points that we can talk about regarding this motion. So the even if side. Okay. Thank you, Lee, for that. Next person on the agree. Yes, Haling, go ahead.
Well, firstly, I'll set my rebuttals to Lee's argument. Lee said that people can be a replayer and can make people to be trapped in the past, but it's like the motion says that people are equipped with a replayer, so they are not forced to use it. So owning a tool is not it's not the same as like constantly using it. Just like you just have to choose if they want to. And here's my setup. We define that a replayer is a device that allows people to review their memories, to review any like event from their own life, exactly as it happened from their own perspective. It functions like a perfect recording of one's memories and enabling people to revisit conversations and experiences whenever they choose. under the status quo is that human memory is imperfect and fades over time. In our model, everyone is like automatically equipped with this device throughout their lives and can decide whether or not to use it. So it's a tool that enhances human memory rather than replacing human emotions. Therefore, the comparison in the debate is between our current world and a world where everyone has a reliable access to accurate record of their own experiences. We believe that such a word empowers individuals to make better decisions and like better understand themselves. Uh, my first argument is that people can make better decision when they can accurately review the past rather than relying on distorted memory. People often misremember some conversations or forget details and therefore hence exaggerating conflicts or rewrite their memories to protect their ego. For example, students can replay no they the replayer removes these above mentioned distortions and like it helps people to know exactly what happened. For example, students can replay their memories on how they to help them to help them improve themselves by remembering how they prepare for the exam or where they made mistakes. So this creates a faster learnings progress and greater self-awareness. So this will lead to a better society where everyone can improve their memories and learning through mistakes. Yeah, that's it.
Okay. Thank you, Ling, for that. So I think Ling has a good structure as well. She focuses more on the positive side of this technology. I think that like, if we are the first speaker, what Ling did good is that she is able to give her own definition of what this replayer do. And that's a good thing because in this kind of this house prefers, we can totally give like our understanding as long as it is realistic. So in this case, this replayer can like records whatever we see every moment, but we have to be realistic as to which if we are able to replay every single moment, right? So Ling said that like we can help us with like that technology can help us with our studies, other stuff in our lives, etc. I think you can also provide like a trade-off because like there may be a trade-off in this debate in which you can say that we're willing to give up the fact is that people will kind of like won't be able to experience one thing once. Because in this case, they can experience a moment twice if they replay it. But you can also talk about how replaying it twice and experiencing it twice is actually a good thing and how it helps them with their daily lives. And you can also provide some specific scenarios as to which it may happen. You can also talk about who are most likely to use that technology for what reasons as well. So yep, those are a couple of things for my suggestions. Okay, we got two speakers, so we can try to finish with two speakers and we will end today. So one person from disagree, which is who is that? Maybe there are no one else. Oh yeah, still Helena. Helena, go ahead with your speech. Oh, Helena, are you there? Maybe not. So Jade, you can go first.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. So yeah, Helena, go ahead then.
Okay. Sorry because I think there was like some problem with my mic. So I want to start my speech after 3, 2, and 1. So today I will stand on the negative team of the emotions that this house prefer a world where everyone is equipped with a free player. So just imagine every embarrassing mistake and every painful moment, every sad memories could be replayed perfectly forever. The government said that this will help people remember better, but we disagree with this. Our team believed that this technology will create more harm than benefit, so we oppose the motions. Today I will have two arguments. So first, repair damaged people's mental health. Um, Perfect memories are not always a gift. In today's world, our brain naturally forgets some details over time, and this is very important because like forgetting will help people to heal from painful experience. With replayer, every memory will stay exactly the same forever. Whenever people feel sad or guilty, they can replay those moments again and again. For example, someone who lost a loved one may repeatedly watch their last conversations. A student who failed an important exam may keep replaying the moment they received their result, and then they cannot move on. And instead of accepting what happened, they will become trapped into those emotions, and this could increase stress, anxiety, regret, and even depressions. And my second argument is that replay prevents people from moving forward. Life will become harder when people learn from the past instead of living inside it. Just normally, memories fade over time. This will encourage people to focus on the future, but with replayer, people can constantly compare today with yesterday. Someone may keep replaying their happiest vacations and become unhappy with their current life. A person after a breakup may watch old memories every night instead of building new relationships. Instead of creating new experiences, they will spend time reliving old ones, and this creates personal growth because people become emotionally attached to the past. And about the class, the affirmative team said people can simply choose not to replay bad memories. However, is unrealistic. Humans are emotional. When people feel guilty or curious, like they will naturally revisit painful memories. And we already see it today when people reread old messages or keep looking at sad photo, even thought it hurt them. And the replayer make this unhealthy behavior much easier because it's offer a perfect recording instead of a blurry memory. And giving people this technology will create a serious mental health risks, and they also argue that replaying memories will help people learn from mistakes. We agree that reflections is useful, but people do not need perfect video recording to reflect. Memory, journals, photos, and advice from others are already enough. In fact, learning often comes from understanding why we made mistakes, not from watching them hundreds of times. And perfect replay will encourage obsessions instead of reflections. So in conclusions, for me, the replay may sound like very interesting, very useful, but it will create a world where people become prisoners of their own memories, and this will damage mental health by encouraging endless replay or painful experience, and it also prevent people from letting go of the past and focusing on the future. So for all of the reasons, I strongly oppose this motion. Thank you for listening to me.
Okay, that's a good speech, Helena. Thank you for giving that speech. I think Helena has a lot of good rebuttals on her side. She talks about like reflection, And I think that's good if you compare, you can have like other types of reflection, journals, photos, and they're so much better. And yep, you can also talk about how replaying, which is like 100% accuracy, you say it leads to obsession. I want you to dig a little deeper on how obsession might appear. Like, why will people be obsessed with like replaying? Like, what is the mechanism as to their action of replaying? Why would people replay in the first place? Right? So you can also talk about the reasons why people might replay. Of course, they will not replay just for fun. That could be a reason, but other reasons maybe they want to, see how they look like in that scenario or want to change something that they either regret. So, yep, that's it, really. Okay, thank you, Helena, for that. And lastly, Jade, go ahead. Just notice Jade is not here. Okay. Well, then if Jade is not here, then maybe I'll ask him to record his own speech and send it after. So I think that's it for today. And we have like week 11, which we will learn on the last part, the weighing. We haven't learned that. And then the week 12 is a debate, and we will end our class. I think I will invite like a judge, like a foreign judge, not from Vietnam, but I'll see if I can do that because I'm not sure. Okay, I will try to do that because I really want to invite this judge. She is really good for our last class. Okay, so we'll take a photo and yep, we'll end. So you guys can turn on your cameras. We're Sunny, Ling, and Lee. Okay, here we go. It's fine if you guys don't want to turn on then. So I will count 1 to 3. 1, 2, and 3. Okay, thank you. Let me save the photo first. So bye. See you next week.
Bye.